What's your name and how do you spell it?
My name is Jose Gonzalez, Josegonzalez, and I'm a Deputy Chief with the Goodyear Police Department.
And what happened here this afternoon?
Well, today at 1:10 p.m., our Emergency Telecommunications Center received a 911 call referencing a construction worker who was trapped underneath a pile of dirt. The call was immediately transferred to the Goodyear Fire Department, who arrived 6 minutes after the call came in. PD arrived shortly thereafter, and what we encountered was that there were several construction workers that were utilizing their heavy equipment to try to rescue the individual who is trapped. Our fire personnel also jumped into the rescue efforts. Unfortunately, what we found was that as we were pulling dirt out, additional dirt was continuing to collapse in on the individual who was inside, and after about 30 minutes, given the conditions and how long the individual had been trapped, we had to slow things down and turn it into now a recovery operation. One of the things that we learned, which has really kind of forced us to really slow things down, is that underneath where the individual is at, there are some sensitive infrastructure like gas, water, and power that we don't want to just go in and disrupt for safety of those around the area. So that was part of the reason why we had to really slow things down, and this is now kind of converted from a rescue into a recovery operation.
What can you tell us about the construction worker, male, female, age, anything?
At this point, the only thing I know is that it was a male individual who was in the hole actively working when the collapse occurred. The individual who called 911 mentioned that the person was approximately 6 feet under, so it was a substantial hole that they were working in. At this point, I don't have any additional details regarding the individual.
What was the project that the crew was working on, do you know?
At this point, I don't know, sorry.
Okay, and was it a private company or a city crew, or?
I believe it's a private company.
Okay, and how long do you estimate the gentleman is still under dirt? What's the current situation?
So at this point, the individual remains trapped underneath where he was originally located. Again, because we've identified the fact that there are sensitive infrastructure utilities that are located nearby where the individual is trapped, we've had to really slow down. We are working with the various companies to help identify those utilities so that we don't cause a bigger situation when recovering the individual who's trapped.
And how long do you estimate, or is there an estimate as far as the recovery?
At this point, there is no estimate. The only thing I will say is we'll be out here as long as it takes for us to safely recover the individual who's trapped.
Any estimate of the number of fellow construction workers on the project that were trying to dig or help building out?
Unfortunately, no, I don't have that. I know there were several individuals who were here. I just don't have an exact number.
And was it a trench, a hole, or any idea on what kind of situation?
I believe it was a hole that was being dug that was approximately 6 feet deep.
Okay. And anything else that you can add? It looked like you had fire agencies from Phoenix to Buckeye. Who all came out to assist?
Well, when the call came in at 1:10 p.m., given the fact that it appeared to be some sort of like emergency that required special equipment, the call was immediately transferred to the Goodyear Fire Department. They're the ones who initially responded, arrived within 6 minutes, and they were the ones who encountered the construction workers actively working to try to save the person who was underneath. We joined those efforts, with fire and with the construction workers. Unfortunately, though, after about 30 minutes, we quickly realized that the individual was buried so far down, and given the sensitivities of the area, we had to really slow down, which is why it's now considered a recovery operation.
Lower Buckeye close in both directions. Any estimate on how long that'll be?
Probably at least the next couple of hours, but I can't give you much more than that.
Anything I forgot to ask? Anything you'd like to add?
I think you're good. Thank you.